Boo. Did I scare you there? I know, I'm really good. You probably weren't expecting to see me like this, but here I am, and there's nothing you can do about it. So the reason I'm making this video is because we are about to finish a year. And for those of you who haven't realized it yet, this Earth just finished another circle around the sun, and as humans who live on Earth, it is our responsibility to celebrate the new year. And the fact that the Earth has just finished circling around the sun. So here I am wishing you all a happy new year. But I'm not just going to end the video right here. Let's go through what happened in this year. Starting with, of course, video games. We had some amazing games this year. We as gamers ate this year. I'm going to start with congratulating Baldur's Gate 3, a fantastic game. As like everyone knows it, it absolutely deserved to be the game of the year. And it was amazing to see that there are still video game developers who care about making a good game and not just how to monetize and making money out of it. And there are others, of course, there are other good games like Zelda. I think it's called Tears of the Kingdom. Sorry, I'm not much of a Zelda fan. Then there's Spider-Man 2, or was it Spider-Man? Is it called Spider-Man 3? The Spider-Man Venom. You know which one I'm talking about. Basically, the other nominees of the Game of the Year title. So we had some fun and amazing games this year as gamers, but that doesn't mean that we didn't have bad games. We absolutely did. Some of them like if I were to think over my head are Golem, Rise of Kong, and Redfall is probably like the worst games out there at the moment that you actually have to pay money to play, and some of them are like $70-$80. I think Redfall was $90, but I could be wrong with this, so I'm not gonna, so just take it with a grain of salt. But the games were so terrible, it literally became a meme. Like all three of these games, like if you were on YouTube when they were released, you know that these three were memes. And well, we have some good days and bad days. We have to, I guess we're just gonna say it is what it is and move on. But these are the games that I haven't played on stream or on YouTube, so I'm not gonna go dive deep into those things. Let's talk about the games I did play and I did enjoy. Starting with Final Fantasy XIV, as I have a lot of guide videos on Final Fantasy XIV on my channel, and probably will make more in the future. But the Final Fantasy XIV I started playing not this year. I started playing at the end of previous year, around November. At the end of November, I'm pretty sure. The reason I already talked about why I started playing Final Fantasy XIV. The reason I started playing it because I was super excited about Tower of Fantasy, a gambling Genshin game that is also an MMO, but the game did not hold back on their greed, and I immediately knew that if during their beta, I immediately knew that they're not gonna improve their game at all, and it was gonna be a flop. And I was right about it. The game still has decent amount of player. Like if you Google it, some sites say 30 to 40,000, which is not bad, but not great either. But it still have, like, for compared to some other dead MMOs, they still have a lot of players, decent amount of players. So I'll give them that much. It just wasn't for me. The people I knew who wanted to play it, they all left like within a month. Some of them were streamers like me, and they stopped streaming or creating content altogether. But that goes to Tower of Fantasy. That's what it was a year ago. So let's talk about Final Fantasy 14. It was an amazing year for me because even though Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker came 2 years ago, but I started playing, as I said, in November. So I went through the whole game within the first 2-3 months. So at the start of this year, I was still going through the story or exploring the game, and I have to say, after leaving World of Warcraft at Wrath of the Lich King, I have been craving for a good MMORPG. Even though Final Fantasy XIV is not the traditional MMORPG, you say, it's basically a single player game that is also an MMO. because it's just the story is your character focus, and you just go through the story by yourself. It's just the dungeons and raids that are part of the story. You have to play with other people, other players, and you are not really required to do any of the quote unquote end game raids or dungeons. It's just the and Final Fantasy 14 is mainly carried, in my opinion, by its player base. Like they hold variety kind of show, like cosplay events, or just monthly or weekly parties, and streamer stuff like streamer gathering, guild hunting, all that kind of, not by guild hunting. I mean, they all get together and then hunt for different mounts and bosses. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, it was. I wasn't part of any guild, but it was fantastic. It was a fantastic experience. The player base was amazing. They helped me a lot when I was started, and after I became good with the game, then I help the new players, and it's a cycle that just goes on and on. So I would say I've been so basically in a year I have over 180 days of playtime. So yeah, I played the game a lot, and of course some of it is an AFK, because after I finished my end game grind, I did started to AFK for a bit, just to chat with other people, because I didn't really want to get into the end games, which is just like ultimates and those raids. If you know Final Fantasy 14, you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, just if you don't know, then just know that those are the true end game, so to speak. So yeah, I never really got into them because I rather I don't want to go in with randoms. I didn't feel like going through drama because there was a lot happening in real life. Oh, speaking of real life, I forgot to talk about that. I also graduated university or this year, so and I moved to a small place, and things are a bit messy on my part. But yeah, just throwing it out there. If you're watching it, if you know me, and just so know, like anything can happen at any moment. But anyway, that was Final Fantasy 14. Absolutely fantastic game, and there's a new expansion coming next year. I am very excited about it, and just so to for everyone, basically, not just Final Fantasy 14 players, but the people who don't play Final Fantasy 14, don't expect too much from this new expansion, because after the hype of Endwalker, right? Let's just know that Endwalker was the end of an arc. It is where the story was over after the story that started at Realm Reborn, the game that came out like 10 years ago. That was Endwalker was the conclusion of this, and the new expansion Dawn Trail is gonna be a start of a new arc. That is what it looks like at the very least. So it might not be as exciting, but Square Enix do have a big shoes to fill. So just let's hope for the best, but don't overexcite yourself. Like, don't expect something amazing that can beat Endwalker. Even though I would be happy to see if they can actually deliver something better than Endwalker as just as the start of a new arc. That would be a fantastic experience, and I will absolutely play it as soon as it releases. Moving on from Final Fantasy 14, let's talk about Genshin. I do play Genshin quite a lot, even though I am not a big fan of gambling games. But Genshin, ignoring the gambling, is a amazing game. It's a very relaxing, and it's very fun to play, especially when you have a small community to share your experience with. I am very happy with the people that decided to stay with me and share their experience with the game, and I and letting me share my experience with them, and it's been pretty fun. Genshin released Fontaine this year. Fontaine is the Hydro nation, which it is their one, two, three, four, fifth nation, and so there's two more nation left out of the two Archon. Next is gonna be Natlan, and after that, probably uh, the IC area. I keep forgetting their name, but yeah, Fontaine was amazing. when Sumeru came out the previous year, everyone was super excited, but I personally wasn't, because I knew as soon as I saw Sumeru, I was like, yeah, it might look good, like they took the aesthetic of the jungle and all that, but it's gonna be horrible to explore. And I was absolutely right about it, even though literally every single content creator I saw on TikTok, on YouTube, were like, "Oh, this game looks fantastic. It's probably the best map they ever released." No, it wasn't. It might be visually pleasing somewhat, but it wasn't. From a gamer's perspective, it was a complete mess, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people haven't 100% it yet. Even though, like, I very much enjoyed exploring Liyue, Inazuma, Mondstadt, and I am enjoying, like, still exploring Fontaine, but Sumeru was a horrible experience. Even the people, so one of my member of my community, Maz, if you're watching this, hey dude, he is he is one of the completionists. He has 100% already on all Fontaine areas, but he still have to 100% even, like, I think he only have like one or two areas that are 100% in Sumeru. So it was that terrible. And but it is what it is. It wasn't this year. It was this year was Fontaine, and we got underwater swimming, underwater combat, which is kind of meh. I personally do not like the fact that you have to go to a separate location to get the ability to fight. I would have actually preferred if they let us use our skills normally, like while swimming. That's what Tower Fantasy did, though. Let's not talk about it. Tower Fantasy. I'm just gonna get it to trash talking again. But that's what Tower Fantasy did. I would have preferred something like that, where I would just use my skills. But it's all right. We're almost done with Fontaine, and we're gonna move on. And 4.4 is coming next year, or this very early, and we're gonna get a new area for Liyue. So we'll see what kind of location we're looking at. But let's talk about the characters real quick. When I first saw the characters, I was absolutely not happy. It's an absolute fact. They all look like that literally just came out of a circus, and Nervalet looked like a Joker from Ben 10. If you guys seen the small Ben 10, or the original Ben 10, there's the Joker villain, and he kind of looks like that. His dress code, and I still think it absolutely does. And every single person looked like they just are in a circus. But after doing the Fontaine story, I'm not gonna go into spoils. It is actually the fact. The entire Fontaine is a stage, and everyone is technically performing with the real life, but that is what's happening. So it kind of made sense a bit to that how they dress. Lenny and Leonard literally are circus performers, so they have that bit. The latest character that was released, Navia, she has to dress like that because she is head of their Spina Duracell. I can't pronounce it, but there's a government, so she is. It's not like she wants to, but she has to, and she has just gotten used to wearing this flashy outfit. But so I thought when first I saw the characters, I wasn't happy, and I only thought I was gonna wish for Farina, as she's the Archon, and I've been collecting Archon. But I ended up wishing for three most famous characters from Fontaine: Neuvillette, Farina, and Navia. Neuvillette, because of, well, he's really strong. He's the one candidate that can actually contest with Yelan to for the best Hydro DPS. And then Freyna, well, of course, she's the Archon, literally the best Hydro character you can ask for. Sub DPS, healer, and support. She's all in one. And then there's Navia. I was upset when I lost my 50-50 on Mona, on Ito's banner. And ever since then, every time he came back, there was some other character that I really wanted, and I never really got to wish for him. But this time, I after watching Navia's skill, I was like, I have to wish for her, and luckily I got her early. And she is a fantastic character, just not like visually, that she that she obviously is, but she's just play gameplay wise, she is also pretty fun to play with. So yeah, it was unexpected for me, but I guess the Fontaine is a really win. Is a Fontaine is a win for Genshin, I'm gonna say. And that's and we're gonna go to Natlan. I think I just talked about it. Did I just talk about it? Yeah, whatever. If I did talk about it, I'm gonna talk about it again. Natlan is gonna be the next nation. Is 5.0, and we're gonna have the fire area, including dragons. So fire is my favorite element, and I have a thing for dragons. So I am very, very excited to get to Natlan, and I hope they don't make the Pyroarch on a support. I hope they make Pyroarch on a all-out DPS. And some other rumors that the fact that Pyroarchon might have kids, like physical, actual, literal kids, not like summons like Zhongli and Xiao relationship, but the actual. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just not gonna go deep because then it will be hard for me to simp on her. It would be weird. It would feel weird. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on from Genshin altogether. That is all I have to say about Genshin. There's another game, another unexpected game that I did not think I was gonna enjoy, which is Honkai Star Rail. I know, another gambling game. So it's a turn-based gambling game. The gamble part comes in like as in you getting the characters, but the actual gameplay, there's no rolling like when you're in a combat in game. So basically, it is by MiHoYo as well, and I'm pretty sure you guys already know what the Honkai Star Rail is. I don't have to go into detail, but I'm just going it for maybe someone who doesn't know. Anyway, when the Honkai Star Rail first came out, and Honkai Star Rail also won the best mobile game of the year. So congratulations to them. And so when Honkai Star Rail first came out, few members of my small community, Maz, DJ, they really insisted for me to give the game a try, and I didn't because I am not a big fan of turn-based game, as I mentioned at the very beginning when I was talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Or if I didn't, now you know why I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3. But anyway, so I told them the only way I will play Honkai Star Rail is that if they release a character that looks like Raiden Shogun from Genshin, because she is my favorite character. She was the reason I started playing Genshin at the first place. So that's what I said. If they release a character like that, then I'll play it. And what do you know? During the game of the year, they leaked a character, not really leaked, they teased a character called Acheron, and she looks very much like Raiden. I already have, so yeah, that's why I started playing HSR. There is already a video on YouTube channel that I have started playing. There's still a few recording, like from my experience. I will post them slowly. I'm just really kind of lazy, I guess you can say. So sorry about that. But expect more HSR gameplays from there. But anyway, HSR first. I went in and I wasn't really expecting much. I was just expecting like it's just probably gonna be boring as heck, and there won't be much of a gameplay for me at the very least. But I was wrong. The first 2 days were kind of a struggle because as I said, like I wasn't expecting this, so I didn't go in with as excited as I would have been when I would play a real game, and so didn't think that it was a real game, and so first 2 days I wasn't focusing on the game that much, and I was struggling. By the day 3, I accepted the fact that yes, it's a turn-based game, it's a gambling game, and now all I have to do is just, if I want to enjoy the game, I have to accept these facts and move on with the game. And when I did that, I started actually enjoying the game. Like now I can just go in any fight and take long and win the fight. It's not gonna happen. It's a turn-based game, so I have to worry about my numbers and level my characters, level up their skills, and so they can win the fights. So when I accepted the fact and actually started doing that, I started enjoying the game because combat became really interesting. Let's just say that it became very interesting. It was fun to stream it. Yeah, I got to meet a lot of new people while streaming Honkai Star Rail, so I'm thank you for that too. Thank you guys, if you guys watching this, for coming and hanging out with me and teaching me the ways of Trailblazer. So yeah, with that, I guess the year comes to an end. There were other games that we played on stream. We were excited about, like what we played Warframe a little bit, but Warframe is not a new game, and I have played it a long time ago, and I still play it like once in a while. And some other goofy games like Nikkei that I tried like very recently, like yesterday, and some other goofy games like that, which is I don't know why they're called games in the first place. But anyway, it was fun to explore, and I thank you guys for joining me. So yeah, with that, the episode, or sorry, not the episode. Okay, let's do it right. And with that, the season 2023 comes to an end. Thanks for watching, everyone.